Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the New York Giants just beat the Indianapolis Colts, and they had the number one overall pick, but now it's looking like they won't have that number one overall pick that the New York Giants fans desperately wanted. We're going to talk about that in today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, trying to hit 14,500 by the end of the year. It's going to be tough, but I know we can do it. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So the Giants, going into this game, had the chance to do something really funny, and that was have their best game of the season and beat the Indianapolis Colts, and that is exactly what they did. They put up 42 points, maybe even more at this point. I think they scored a field goal at the end there. They put up over 40 points. Drew Lock had a great game, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Malik Neighbors went off. Wan'Dale Robinson had a good game. The receivers were good. But more importantly, the Giants, who were almost a lock for that number one overall pick, no pun intended, Drew Lock helped them get out of that and get them to right now. I believe they are number 4 because the Raiders did end up winning, which helps out the Giants a little bit there. And then also, I believe some other things happened too. The Titans lost, or no, the Titans lost, but the Jaguars won. So they're still in a good spot draft pick wise, but they are not at that number one spot anymore to choose whoever they want. So even if they do get that number 4 spot, number 5 spot, and they're able to get a quarterback, they're probably gonna have to trade up a couple of spots to get that guy, and they're gonna have to give up draft compensation. So this game, there was no reason to win this game. I'm not saying that it's the player's fault or the coach's fault at all, because you're gonna play every game to win. Why are you gonna play, especially like Drew Lock? Why are you gonna play to help your team get your replacement? It really doesn't make sense. So for the players, it doesn't make sense. GMs can kind of make it work a little bit if they want to, trade some players away before the deadline, or maybe make some guys inactive if they want, work with the coaches on that. But the Commanders, they haven't played yet, and they did. I know this is not necessarily a Commanders video, so not everyone who's watching is a Commanders fan, but the Panthers did lose the game today against the Bucs, so that's not good news for the Commanders. But this is good news for the Commanders because the Giants moved down in the draft order. We'll see if the Eagles have anything to play for next week, because they also could rest their starters. Maybe the Giants win that game as well and finish the season off with 4 wins on the year. But this was a hilarious result. The Giants are a joke. I'm glad we are not in the same category as them, which we have been for a while, or honestly worse. Like the Giants, the last 4 or 5 years have absolutely owned the Washington Commanders. And I know some people are want to win no matter what, but I think the Jaden Daniels example is why you don't necessarily want to win those worthless games, especially when no one's going to be here next year. The Commanders winning the last 2-3 games of last year would have done nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. The head coach was going to be gone. The GM was going to be gone. Both coordinators going to be gone. The quarterback, over half the roster overhauled. So why root for your team to win in those situations, especially when the quarterback that you have is not going to be your quarterback next year? I would understand it, the Patriots right now. They have Drake May. He's a nice young quarterback. You still want to lose, but hey, if you win, at least it's with your young rookie quarterback. The Commanders last year, it didn't make sense for them to win the last few games. And same thing with the Giants right now. They're gonna have a different quarterback most likely than not. Maybe new head coach, maybe new GM. They did though hit on their picks this year. I'm not gonna lie. Malik Neighbors is a dog, and so is Tracy, and then Phillips as well is good. Like, they've had a good class. But I posted this yesterday. Go ahead and check out my Twitter. I said every day I wake up and thank Greg Zuerlein for making this kick and giving the Commanders Jaden Daniels. If he didn't make that kick, Commanders likely don't get Jaden Daniels, or picking like 4 or 5, and the Giants might have gotten him. So just a good example of why winning in the last few games is really, really meaningless, especially when you're a really bad team and there's going to be a new regime coming in the next year. Even if there's not, like that Rivera year, when we won against the Cowboys that last game of the season, it didn't affect our draft slot that much, but a few slots. What does that do for you? So I just think that some fans, especially older fans, are like, you know what? I don't care about the draft pick. Winning is what matters, even if we're out of the playoffs. I understand that to an extent, but I just think that's the wrong way to view things because the draft pick is what matters at the end of the day, especially when you're bringing in a new regime, and a number 1 pick versus a number 9 pick looks drastically different for that GM who's coming in. So you can get a more attractive candidate coming in. So I think doing that helps you win in the long run, even if it's losing another game or two, in the current season. So that's it on the NFL and the Giants stuff. Again, the Giants won. I was rooting for them the whole game. Eagles won, so the Commanders are out of the division race. The best they can do is a 6th seed at this point. The Vikings will be playing the Packers in a few minutes here. By the time this video is posted, the game's probably going to be going on. And then tonight, obviously, the big game, the Washington Commanders versus Atlanta Falcons. Commanders need to get the win. If they get the win or the tie, they are in. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.